They say spiritual awakening brings peace, but it could also bring a whirlwind of intense emotions. If you've experienced a spiritual awakening only to find yourself feeling more emotional and unnerved, stay tuned. Today, we're diving into why awakening amplifies emotions and what this heightened sensitivity truly means for your growth. And at the end, we'll reveal one powerful emotional shift that, while challenging, holds a hidden benefit you won't want to miss. Emotional shift number 1. Imagine you're finally taking steps on your long-awaited journey to self-awareness. You expect peace, calm, and a sense of clarity, but instead, you're feeling everything so deeply. Like even the smallest moments carry a weight you can't explain. It's almost as if this awakening has turned up the volume on your emotions, leaving you more sensitive to everything around you. While we often hear that enlightenment brings tranquility, however, studies suggest a surprising twist. Many people who experience spiritual awakening report heightened emotional intensity. It's as if reaching new levels of awareness brings a flood of emotions that seem to challenge the very peace they're seeking. This isn't a flaw in the process, but a common reaction. Think of it like tuning a radio. Each time you get closer to the clearest signal, you also pick up static and interference that wasn't noticeable before. Researchers at the University of Arizona have shown that heightened awareness often brings greater sensitivity to one's inner states, similar to how being in a completely silent room makes even the faintest sounds stand out. Shakira, for example, has spoken about the deep emotional waves she felt during her journey of self-discovery, even admitting to moments of overwhelming sadness. But how does she manage to stay centered amidst these intense feelings? The answer lies in embracing the sensitivity. Rather than seeking to suppress these emotions, try leaning into them. By allowing yourself to feel fully and process each emotions, you're actually strengthening your inner resilience and aligning with your true self. Give yourself permission to feel without judgment. Remember, awakening isn't about avoiding difficult emotions, it's about understanding them. Emotional shift number 2. You've probably noticed that since beginning your journey towards spiritual awareness and growth, some of your relationships feel different. Conversations with friends or family that once felt effortless now seem tense or disconnected. You might even feel like you're on a different wavelength, noticing subtle judgments or criticisms that never bothered you before. It's as if this awakening has somehow put distance between you and the people closest to you. What's interesting is that research shows as people undergo spiritual growth, they often feel more isolated or out of sync with others. This isn't just about external circumstances, it's tied to the internal changes happening within. According to a study published in the Journal of Humanistic Psychology, this shift in relationships is actually a standard part of spiritual growth, hinting that these feelings of distance aren't accidental. Think of this like moving to a higher altitude where the air gets thinner, making it harder to breathe if you're not prepared. The same goes for relationships. As you grow, you're in a higher state that may no longer match the familiar comfort of your connections. Take, for example, Dolly Parton. She spoke publicly about her journey of self-awareness and how it changed her friendships. While she continues to value her connections, she admits it required a shift in how she navigates them. So how does she manage to keep meaningful relationships despite these changes? The answer is to redefine your relationships based on your new awareness. This doesn't mean cutting people off, but instead approaching connections with empathy and openness. Begin by setting boundaries that honor your growth while respecting others' paths. Remember, growth may create distance, but it also offers the opportunity for deeper connections with those who resonate with the new you. Emotional shift number 3. Imagine you're going about your daily life, indulging in routines that used to bring comfort, maybe scrolling through social media or binge watching a favorite show. But now, these same habits feel empty or even draining. You feel a strange pull to change, but aren't quite sure why these once familiar routines are now unsettling. It's almost as if your awakening has left no space for distractions. Interestingly, studies show that spiritual growth often comes with a shift in values and beliefs, leading individuals to feel allergic to old habits that no longer serve them. According to research published in the Journal of Positive Psychology, this discomfort is a natural byproduct of personal growth, a sort of inner resistance to behaviors that don't align with one's deeper self. Think of this like upgrading a phone's operating system. Some apps simply aren't compatible anymore. As your awareness increases, behaviors and routines that once seemed harmless can now feel like wasted time. Zoe Saldana, who openly discusses her spiritual journey, often mentions how certain activities just stopped making sense as she grew more in tune with her purpose. So what's her strategy for moving beyond these habits? The key is to replace old habits with practices that nourish your inner growth. Embrace activities that align with your newfound awareness, like meditation, journaling, or spending time in nature. Consciously choose actions that feel fulfilling rather than simply comfortable. Remember, growth means letting go of what no longer serves you, even if it once brought comfort, in order to manifest what might have appeared to be meaningful experiences. Emotional shift number 4. As you dive deeper into your spiritual journey, memories of past actions, things you thought you'd moved on from, keep resurfacing. Old regrets, mistakes, and even seemingly minor missteps begin to weigh heavily on your mind. Suddenly, you feel guilty over things that once seemed insignificant, leaving you wondering why these feelings are coming up now of all times. Surprisingly, studies on personal growth reveal that the journey of self-awareness often intensifies feelings of remorse or guilt, even over past events we've long buried. Experts from the University of California suggest that as awareness grows, people tend to reflect on their lives more deeply, creating a sharper contrast between who they were and who they aim to be. This contrast can bring up unresolved guilt, but it's not as negative as it might seem. Think of this like cleaning a room. You don't notice the dust until you start moving things around. Similarly, as you explore your inner self, unresolved feelings and old mistakes that you pushed aside may suddenly come into view. So what will help you transform these feelings into a source of peace? The answer is self-compassion and forgiveness. This guilt is a signal that you're evolving, learning, and holding yourself to a higher standard. Use this as an opportunity to practice forgiving yourself and accepting the lessons those past mistakes offer. Release the guilt, and remember, self-compassion is key to growing beyond who you once were. As the saying goes, forgiveness is giving up the hope that the past could be any different. Now, with all that being said, we'll reveal one powerful emotional shift that holds a hidden power that you might not be aware of. Here's emotional shift number 5. You might find that things which once excited or motivated you now feel pointless. Activities, goals, and even certain relationships no longer carry the same joy or meaning. Instead of feeling enlightened, you're left with an unsettling sense of emptiness, questioning the purpose behind everything in your life. According to psychologists specializing in transformative growth, this sense of existential emptiness is common during spiritual awakenings. Research explains that as people grow more conscious, they often experience a meaning void, as their old sense of purpose no longer aligns with their evolving identity. While disorienting, this isn't a negative, it's a clear signal of deeper change. Picture a plant outgrowing its pot. It becomes root-bound, needing more space to continue flourishing. Similarly, your evolving self is pushing past old boundaries, leaving your familiar sources of meaning feeling too small to sustain your growth. Actor Jim Carrey, who has openly spoken about his spiritual journey, described how he felt a profound emptiness once he achieved what he thought would make him happy. So how did he overcome this void and find a new sense of purpose? The answer is redefining your purpose from within. Rather than looking for meaning in external achievements, begin focusing on internal fulfillment through personal growth, spiritual practices, contribution through aiding others, and authentic connections. In other words, intentionally embrace new practices that align with your deeper values, like serving others or nurturing your inner peace. Remember, Letting go of what once filled you allows space for a new, deeper fulfillment to take root. What's one emotion or experience that surprised you most on your own journey of self-discovery? If you're interested to learn more about self-discovery, then be sure to watch our video about 6 reasons why spirituality is essential in today's world. To learn more about the power of you, see you there.